Hello and welcome everybody to the fifth session of Creative Classrooms. I'm your host, the Mindset Coach Dawood Waid. And before we begin our session, and I'll introduce my guest for today, I want to thank you each and every one you. Yeah, I see most of you joining in, and then hopefully we'll also have this recorded up and we'll be putting it back. But the best part of any learning is when you are live, when you're interacting. And one of the reasons we started Creative Classrooms because I got a lot of messages that it's a great idea, people appreciate it, but a lot of people ask, why am I doing it? So essentially, I'm a teacher myself, and I realized that despite the challenges of learning technology that we have never learned in all of our lifetime, or speaking about digital classroom, child absenteeism, parents payment problem, we still are doing our best. We are making sure that the education does not stop, and I salute for all of Corona warriors, the teachers of our times. And this is a small payback to our teachers that what can we speak about. So I get my good friends share something on what do we want to learn. Last few sessions we had Divesh Bhatija come and speak about maths, the online tools we use for maths. We had Mr. Jaspal Singh, who is part of the Apple Tech team and Google Education, speak about Zoom and Google Meet in the last session. And today we have got another great leader who's going to speak about the world of formative assessments. And meanwhile, in between, we do a little bit of summary, a little bit of gifts, a little bit of ideas. So I want to start today's session with a small story. Before I get into the core of it and others join in, this is one of the champion in his own league. He is one of the grandmasters, one of the youngest grandmasters in chess. If anybody knows, you can use your chat box and share what's his name. And as teachers, sometimes we don't talk about the different world we live in, but all right, so you can use an open chat box, not necessarily privately. He is, give me, there is a saying that if you give yourself 30 seconds more, the student response is 70% more. All right, so he's not Vishy Anand. So whoever wrote down privately, I agree. That's the only chess master that we know of, Vishwanathan Anand. Who is he? He's one of the epics. Even he is someone who defeated Vishwanathan Anand. Well, we're proud of a chess master, but his name is Magnus Carlsen. Now, Magnus Carlsen is a young prodigy in chess, and what I'm talking about is something very interesting that came up. There was a match that Magnus Carlsen had with then the greatest, chess master of his time, Gary Kasparov. And Magnus did something amazing, something absolutely unexpected of a chess man. He got up from his seat and he started walking around. As they are playing an intense chess match, Magnus Carlsen, he got up from his seat and he went around seeing others' board, leaving his own board, and realized that this playing the chess master was playing the. Hold on, I'll just. All right, the people, they're allowed to unmute themselves. I'll just, it's okay. Technology is not a friend yet on all teachers. This is a platform for learning, so do not be embarrassed if something goes wrong. So the entire result of that was Kasparov got completely, baffled, and he lost the game. The game he should not have lost. He should have at least won or at least done a draw. What is this result of? What am I talking about? Well, this is what we call the interesting concept called, there is a word for it. So when you are completely focused on one thing, you will not win. Magnus Carlsen did something amazing. He changed his mind to different boards. He came back with a different approach, a new strategy, and he won. And this is what formative assessments does. The word for that, and this is what I'm going to teach you today, a word that is amazing called the Einstein effect. All right. So this is Einstein, of course. So it's Einstein-Lung effect. It's a prior knowledge harms the performance. I work a lot with brain cells and neurons and work on that. Sometimes when you're not letting your child be distracted, you are making them, we say that, I don't know how many of you heard that. We say, oh, pay attention. I want pin drop silence. By the way, as a science teacher, there is nothing called a pin drop silence. It is only in a vacuum where there is no oxygen, you might die, right? So the idea is, do not let your mind be frozen. Let children go ahead. And one of the best ways I've understood to unfreeze your mind is using formative assessment, exit tickets, Kahoot quizzes, Padlets, and we'll go talk about mentees and ed puzzles. There's so many tools that we can talk about. Hopefully, we'll have all of these and whatever we can be covered up by a fantastic guest today, Miss Asna Farheen. Miss Asna Farheen, ma'am, is a pedagogy leader, an independent consultant and a trainer for international schools. She's been working in India, abroad, in Asia. I am so glad to have her on board. Thank you so much, ma'am, and welcome, Asnaha, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Brother Daud, for such a great introduction. And as you know well, I am a big fan of you. So I started my teaching career with one of your sessions, and that's how we are connected. And I love to get connected with the like-minded people. And you know, we have many like-minded people joining us, and I can see all 51 participants. And thank you so much, guys, for joining us. And today we are just going to reimagine the practice which we have been using in the classroom. So we just need to relook at it, and let's learn together today. Thank you so much.
Welcome, ma'am. The floor is yours. I think you will share a presentation and we get started for it. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm going to do that.
Right, I'm seeing a lot of message pouring in. So thank you all of you, Manhaj sir, Ishrat ma'am, Musa sir. Yes, we'll get started. Here we are.
Yeah, so now we are going to explore the power of formative assessment, and formative assessment is really, really powerful. And I'm not going to fall into any kind of agreements, and probably at the end of the session, you may realize that how important are formative assessments. So before starting, I know a few of you, but I don't know many of you, and it's good to develop connections. So I want you all it is just a small icebreaker. Just type your name in the chat box and answer any one questions, and do let us know where are you joining us from. So your name, and you can choose to answer any one question.
You can use the everyone chat, so you can chat to everybody. So go ahead.
Yeah.
So the questions are, what's your favorite place to go on vacation? I know in lockdown you can't go out of the home except for grocery. So it's a difficult question, ma'am. Is that a formative assessment as well?
Yeah, but we can imagine, like where do we want to go? Always hopes should be high. So one day we'll be free from this COVID-19 situation, and we all will be out in our favorite places. Wow, I can see. Okay, people are writing me privately. I can see many people. Yeah, writing my favorite vacation is Thailand. I have Rabia Sabakasar, but everyone is messaging privately.
Okay, yeah, so I think you can put it on public. So I quickly read Sangram sir, one of my favorite teacher, wants to go to Australia. Sir, I'll join you to Melbourne. Afreen ma'am loves cat. Shazia loves cat. Paris, Shazia, my spouse wants to go to Paris, so I'm sure. All right, so there's General Firdaus, you want to go to Cox's Bazar. Okay, Malaysia, someone wants to go to Malaysia. Mitu ma'am wants to go to Akmis. Okay, the rose smell, all right. Fantastic. There you are. Shabana ma'am wants to go to Australia again.
Great. So I think we should move ahead.
So, ma'am, we've got a couple of ice cream flavors, so I must read it. Sophia ma'am wants mango. Fatima wants butterscotch. Kanta ma'am wants chocolate, ma'am. Yeah, we'll do that in Chennai together. And Chichore, Parvati ma'am, thank you so much. If I got it, Chichore is a movie so close to our heart, especially what happened to Sushant Singh.
Yes, and how can I relate it with you yesterday? I read your Facebook post, and the one which you have just discussed, the person who is now a chess master, and he's following a technique. Yesterday, there was a mention of that in that movie. So, like everything is so connected.
Yes. One of the, one of his friends, the losers group, as they call themselves.
Yes.
So, right, Ishrat ma'am from Bangladesh, thank you. Chocolate is your ice cream. I'm happy. We've got somebody from UAE, Palm Jumeirah. Oh, I love the drive there. She wants to go to Farhana ma'am, wants to go to Atlanta. And you have a carpet dog, Farzana Momin ma'am. And her name is Teddy. I think others can read it now. Thank you so much, ma'am. The floor is yours.
Okay, so it is very important for a teacher, and we all are teachers by heart. Although I'm not teaching for past 3 years, but still I'm surrounded by teachers. So it is very important that we need to have our learning intentions ready. So just a mnemonic for learning, Vault. What are we learning today? So the purpose of formative assessment, and we are going to distinguish between formative and summative assessments. We are going to look into the characteristics of feedback, And we are going to understand different assessment tools and techniques, both offline and online. We are going to look into what is rubric, how to use rubric more effectively, and yes, a little bit of self and peer assessment. Okay, so it's like we all know what assessment is, but I request you all to just look into it and just tell me using something which I'm going to share with you. And you need to use this particular tool, and yes, and it is going to everyone. So please use this particular tool to share your understanding of assessments. It's very good to know the prior knowledge, and use the tool, please. Don't use the chat box, use the tool so that we all can see results as a collage. I request Rizwan and everyone to use the menti.com. I have just shared the link, and just see your results. I'm going to show you results. What do you all think collectively about assessments?
Is there a code, Asna ma'am, they can type on menti.com? So
I have already shared it. They just need to click the link and good to go. This link, I'm sharing it again. You just need to click the link and it's working.
Okay, we'll just try it out from my computer and I can share the screen for all of you. Okay, ma'am, what you can do is you can just open up your menti.com and there'll be a code there. It'll be much easier with the code.
Okay,
you can open the link and then share. Yes.
Okay. So the code is this 991901. Now working.
Yes.
And yeah,
perfect,
they can see.
Perfect.
Yeah, it works. You know, sometimes technical glitches are there, but it works. I can see some of them are writing. So I'm going to right away share the screen of Menti. Yes.
Right, Ayar sir, thank you so much.
Can you see your results? Can you see your results, what you're typing just now? Yes. Beautiful ideas, yeah. Learning of SS. I guess SS are students. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Yes. Wow. It's growing. So this is one way either to check your prior knowledge, the student's prior knowledge, or you can, you know, just have this kind of assessment during the learning engagement as well. So it's great to see, and it's not only fun, we can just check the enduring understanding or the prior knowledge where they are. So before starting the session, I have just quickly checked your prior knowledge, and yeah, prior knowledge is very rich. So I need to have some anchor activities in my arsenal today. So I am dealing with all the anti-heroes. Yeah, pretty excited. So I'm going to move on. Yes, so I'm back again. So you all have shared your understanding of assessment. Let me share what we think assessment is. So assessment is the process of gathering and analyzing and interpreting the information on student learning and instructional choices. So assessment is not only for students, it is equally important for teachers to relook at their instructional approaches in order to provide students with feedback. And you know, as per with the new normal in teaching is a shift from feedback to feed forward. And all the assessments, you know, all the formative assessment leads to an improvement in the student learning and inform them where they are and where they can go. Now, again, a small test. You must be, you know, feeling that, okay, so you must be aware that today's code is, you are aware of today's code. It's exam. So it is our exam today, and we are together in this exam. So I'm again going to share another Menti thing, and I want you to just assess yourself.
Right. So I can see some of you answering, but we will use again menti.com because the whole idea of online learning is getting onto tools here, digital tools. So fair enough. Let's go and fair enough. Anybody here who says one as an assessor would be interesting, I think we'll have special classes for
Yes.
them.
So the menti.com is again, I think I should share a code as well.
Yeah, the code would also be, because a lot of people on mobile as well. Code would be good.
Okay, I'm just doing that. Actually, yes, the code thing I didn't think of, and yeah, here is the code as well.
So if you just present it, you'll get the code, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. You cannot see my screen. Okay. I'm doing it behind the scene. Yeah. So again, I think I should go there, and I'm going to present the Menti thing again, and I'm enjoying going back and forward. Yeah, wow. So few people are, they're giving themselves 5 stars. I just need to say a little, little careful. So with a caveat, I'm going to say complacency kills. So it's always safer to mark yourself at 4. There's an opportunity to grow. Okay, there are some people, those who are grading themselves really low, 1 star, 2 star, good. Okay, few have 4 stars. Great. So this is an entire idea about, where are you marking yourself as an assessor. So this is one way to self-assess yourself. So you can use the same in your classrooms. So this menti.com is actually a tool. It's a presentation tool. It's not a free one. It's a paid one, but I find it really good. It's quite handy. And it allows a lot of peer and self-assessment, and we can see the data where everyone is together. So I can see all the participants where they are. So I think most of my participants are at 4 stars. So I need to really relook at my instructions. So yes, I'm going to do that.
Fantastic. And thank you so much, all the participants. I think Google, our creative classrooms have really improved when we use first the Menti. And after 5 weeks, I can see all of you participating, using it very well. So that's one advantage. I can't take all the credit. You are doing some great work on your own. So there we are. And number 2, ma'am, one of the best book I read in college was called Jugaad. That's Indian innovation, right?
Yes.
So menti.com is absolutely paid, but you can reuse your slides. So
what am I doing? This is my 3rd reuse. First, I used it in one of my PD. Then I used in one of the session, and then again I changed it, and I'm using it again.
Right. So these are the these are the hacks people learn in our creative classrooms. You can 3 slides, you can reuse it at least 30 times.
Reduce and reuse. So I'm reusing and I'm reducing my workloads.
Absolutely.
Yes. So thank you all. Most of you are getting 4 stars, and you have graded yourself at 4 stars. Many congratulations. And those who are on 1 and 2, get good to go. If you have started, please start with full potential, and you will soon reach at 4. And I'm still at 2. Okay, so what do we need to assess? We always need to introspect ourselves. So one of my favorite strategy that helps me to learn and making sense of everything, whatever we learn, we read many books, and being a pedagogical leader, reading has become a part of my life. So one thing that I have recently read, and I just change it into mnemonics. So it is 4 Ds. What do we need to assess actually? While assessing, we need to discover. So wear a hat of scientist and try to discover where your students are. It is very, very important. Right now, we have discovered where you are. So it allows you to alter your teaching and learning practices. So it allows you to take in-time action. And then the second hat that you can wear is designer. So we need to design assessment in a way which cater to the need of each and every learner. And then delivery. The delivery of the content should be in multiple ways, especially when you're not face to face. Now we are facing the new normal, and most of the schools are running remotely, or they are following the distance learning technique. So it is very important to deliver your instructional approaches, your learning and teaching practices in a way so that it can reach all the students of your class. Determination, it is very important that you and your learners are intrinsically motivated towards the learning goals. So here I go on my next slide, the backward design process. We all have we all have learned in a way which was not backward by design. Exam was the last thing that we used to think of, because our teachers also used to think that way only. I'm an Indian and I'm a product of such a curriculum. But it is important to take a step back and design the most important thing. Like, what is the most important thing? Think about the outputs. So backward by design means where you identify the KUDs. I'm again saying KUDs. KUD is again a mnemonic. So K stands for what do you want your students to know. U stands for what do you want your students to understand, and what do you want them to do. So, when you are identifying your learning intentions and keeping in mind the learning into different chunks, it becomes easy for you and your student to follow the path, which is explicit, right? And second thing that you can check while designing backward is like, how do I check what they have learned, right? And here comes assessments, both summative and formative. Planning learning experiences and instructions. So which learning activities will lead to the desired results? So again, re-looping back to the first step. So you are now thinking and pondering that what experiences should I give? So here we are not talking about activities. We are talking about the learning experiences. So I always suggest my teacher not to use the word activity, rather talk about learning engagement. So when students are engaged, they actually experience learning, right? So you must have heard a new fancy word, experiential learning or inquiry based learning. So forward looking educators are thinking about the experiences what they can give to reach to KUDs, the knowledge, understanding, and what you want them to do. Means how do you want them to take their learning to the real world. Second thing, we are going to talk about the type of assessment. So right now what I had discussed about KUDs. So what is worth being familiar with is just knowledge. What is important to know and do comes into understanding. And the third part is enduring understanding. So the most traditional approaches, the selected responses, your quiz and test, only lead to the first two circles. They never take people or the learners into the third level. That is enduring understanding. When a learner understands better, he or she takes learning, to the real world. So what are those type of assessment? Those are complex, those are challenging, those are open-ended, and all the selected response, your fill in the blanks, your quiz comes under the traditional approaches. And even the question answers also, some of the question answers which are not open-ended comes under the first part. Now it's time to unmute and just tell me, after observing the picture, or you can use the chat box, tell me what do you think, what it is saying, and how can you relate it with the assessments? Yes.
All right. Rabia ma'am says it's balanced instructions. Good enough.
Great.
I can see that you are, telling us that IPL was cancelled. There is no sporting happening.
Good. Ideas are always right, and perspectives too. Really good.
We got a couple of quick answers. Providing as the need of the students. Kanta ma'am says balance between high and low achievers, giving equal opportunity,
Wow.
but customizing. That's wonderful answer from Shabana ma'am. Satyavarthi ma'am says access learners based on their skills. I think all of us can read. A lot of chats going on, only the private ones. Naila says equal distribution. Shazia says equality means one exam for everyone. Wow, I'm getting good answers. Diverse learning, Sangram sir says. Sana says same level of support.
Wow.
You have got very engaged learners today, Asna ma'am.
Yes, you know, the all forward-looking educators are here. Very good. So this is basically talking about, you know, when we say, okay, we are, you know, we are good assessors and we are very balanced, we are providing opportunity. So when we see this side of the picture, when I say this side, which is talking about equality. So in our perspective, we are designing assessment, which we think are equal. Have we ever thought about the level of the learners where they are, and, you know, the kind of traditional approaches which we are using? Do they allow equity? I don't think so. But yes, there is where there is a will, there is a way, and we all want our learners to succeed. So if we think about equity and if we promote, you know, various paths to reach to a learning intention, there we are thinking about equity. So equity is very, very important. What we think is equal is not equal. But if we provide equity, we are actually creating various paths of the learners to reach the learning goal. Okay, I'm bored talking about assessment. So let's talk about cats. Okay, so who all loves cats? I love watching cats, but, you know, it's very difficult to, you know, pamper a cat. So fine, don't get annoyed. We're going to get back to what we are discussing today. So we are basically discussing about the classroom assessment techniques. So backward knowledge survey, which we just did, right? When I started this session, I took your backward knowledge. So backward knowledge is your prior knowledge. What do you know? And good to see you all know too much, you know. So you just need to add little more salt and pepper and you're good to go. So pre and post test. So before learning, we need to you know, have a pre-test kind of thing, and after learning, the post test, and in between we need to give enough opportunities so that when the learners raised the post test, they are, you know, equally well equipped to meet the learning targets. Primary threat analysis, it is basically talking about, someone said that the diverse learning opportunities, but how will we give diverse learning opportunity when we don't know who our learners are? And then the minute paper is something which is a very quick and handy technique. You can keep those papers intact in your classroom. After finishing any learning engagement, you can hand over those papers with, you know, well structured questions like 3 to 1, or share you know, something which is which has grabbed your attention, anything, and a question to the learner to reflect on their learning. And then misconception and preconception check. When we talk about the prior knowledge, we are actually not expecting that the learners know it all, but knowing about the preconception and misconception is very, very, very important. If we get to know the misconception, we know that the learner is, you know, needs our help. If we know the preconception, we can plan our learning well. Same thing, I just spoke about the minute paper. So one thing that you can use as a minute paper, clearest point. What is something which is very clear to you? Muddiest point. What do you want me to relook back? What is something which is unclear to you? And then the classroom opinion polls and surveys, which is very common. We can use it using the polls. We can use it, you know, within the Google Classroom. So there are various opportunities which give a voice to learners. Reading reaction, paper reaction if they are reading any article, and think, pair, and share. Right now, think, pair, share have become think, pair, and tweet, think, pair, and WhatsApp. portfolio analysis. If you're going through a process, for example, learning about narratives, learning about author's purpose, so it is a process. So maintain a portfolio of learning of learners and keep on analyzing it. Chain notes, you can use sketch notes or something where students are writing in their own way to retain the learning what they are doing. I can see, Brother Daud, many people are, raising hands. So do they want to speak?
I'm just asking them to everybody to use the chat box, so that's much better.
Very good.
Yes, so don't worry, we'll always be responding in the chat box.
That's great. So shall I move ahead?
Please do that.
Okay, so it is almost 5 p.m. here. It's 5 p.m. here in Bangladesh, and it will be 4:30 in
India.
India.
Yes,
yes. So I want you to think about these jokes, or the midday meal jokes, something. So just tell me, how does the ocean say hello? Why was the broom late? Or what do you call a cheese that is not yours? So just a quick, distractor, so that our mind get rejuvenated again, because you must be tired of listening me. So it's your time. Just tell me any of the answer and use the chat box. I'm reading it again. Why did the banana go to the doctor? What do you call a bear with no teeth? Want me to tell you a pizza joke? Why did they quit giving tests at the zoo? So there are a few jokes related to, today's session too. Why did they quit giving tests at the zoo?
All right. So because it was full of cheetahs, that's the answer it says. Okay. So I can see that. Interestingly, Asna ma'am, we had a lovely session on sense of humor by Nagma Sheikh, one of the very popular teacher in our, Cambridge circle. And it was a lovely session. All those who wanted, I'll share the link in the creative classroom. If those who want,
great,
let me know.
Great. And it is very important to create humor. Just think about ourselves when we get tired, attending these many webinars. What about these poor kids? Some schools are following synchronous learning, some are following asynchronous learning, but at the end of the day, kids are kids. They need some humor, and by giving such humor, it motivates them.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move back to John Hattie, one of my favorite author, and it actually teaches a lot. When we talk about the formative assessment, so if we think our learners as plants, so formative assessment is more like giving opportunities for learners to grow. Like when we grow a plant, what do? We make sure that the plant is getting enough of sunlight, we are watering it properly, and all those fertilizers and the soil quality. So formative assessment is all about those formative steps which we take during the learning. And it is very important to take those steps, because measuring everyone can do at the end, but how did we add value to the life of students? So it's all about formative assessment, and that's the reason we are exploring more about formative assessments. Now, the garden analogy that I have just shared, so just you can clearly see the difference between the formative assessment and the summative assessment. John Hattie itself says that feedback is one form of the formative assessment, is arguably the most critical and powerful aspect of teaching and learning. Shirley Clark again shared that formative assessment is a powerful weapon in any teacher's arsenal. Oh, wow. This is again one of my favorite analogy. So it is talking about when we are, cooking a soup. So when we check it again and again to make it more perfect, to make it more tasty, is all about formative assessment. And when the guest tastes the soup, it is summative assessment. So make the soup for yourself and taste it again and again through effective formative assessment, and guests will be automatically happy. Fine. So this is, we are a forward-looking curriculum. So the entire thing in IBPYP, which I deals with, is completely changed. But this is something which has not been changed completely, and it gives us a clear picture. There are two things when we talk about assessment strategies. So we have, very fancy kind of strategies, but they fall in any of they usually fall in any one of these: the observation, the performance, the process, selected response. So when we talk about observation, for example, it is happening in the class, you have given them an experiment. So what strategy are you using? You are not worried about what they are going to make at the end, rather you're observing them. Okay, sometimes process is more important than the product, so some assessments are process focused. Selected response, all your quizzes and all those things, so these are the assessment strategy. And the most beautiful assessment strategy is open-ended task, when we are not expecting a right answer, where we are giving, you know, a lot of opportunities to learners to reflect, to share their perspective. And you know, these are the tasks where actually the learning is being implemented. Then the assessment tools, we are going to discuss about the few tools like rubrics, probably at the end of the session. So these are several tools. You can see it here: rubrics, benchmarks, and exemplars. So all the teachers, those who are, you know, learning about the writing traits and the writing strategies or the reading strategies, it's always good to give an exemplar. And don't give it, okay, this is the only thing we can do. Give an exemplar, which is, you know, which is a benchmark of what you're supposed to do and what is something which you shouldn't do. Right? Checklist is you know, very well used as a selected response. The most important tool is anecdotal record, where you are recording your minute by minute, day by day observations. If you want your students to, you know, rate themselves, or if you want to, you know, to inculcate more peer assessments, so you can use continuums. Fine. So these are some tools which we can use. And, you know, today we have used Mentimeter. Edpuzzle is again a good tool which we can use, especially for the early years and primary teachers. So those videos actually allows you to have the kind of assessment which is most required, which we are discussing about formative assessment. So
Right.
I'm going to take you to one more tool.
Right, Sangram sir. Kahoot is also very popular. Sangram sir, how do you use Kahoot for more than 10 kids? You know, write down in chat and let me know. We can solve each other's problems also. Right, ma'am. You're going somewhere. We'll do a lot of, that's one of the things we want to do, is do a lot of hands-on. So we'll wait for
Can you
Asna, ma'am.
see the screen now?
Hold on. Yes, we can now.
Okay, so there is a quiz, right? This is again one tool. Why I like it, I'm going to share it with you. The thing is that it allows, you know, kind of differentiated learning, because it gives various opportunities for learners to, you know, relook at what they are learning in the classroom. Okay. I'm not able to access it. So this is one tool. It has, you know, different pathways to learning. Can you see it now? Internet
Yes.
is too bad today over here. Wi-Fi is not working, so I've connected it with my mobile. So the first thing is feedback, right? So this is an you know, a quiz about formative assessment, which I'm going to give you all. Brother Daud, you have the link of this, right?
Yes.
So we can share it. Not now, we can share it. I'm just helping them to explore. So you can see different tabs here, flashcards. So learners can go back and relook at the concept which they are learning in the classroom. So for example, we are learning about feedback. So we can just quickly see what it is. Any information given to students about this current performance is feedback. So whatever we are learning in the classroom, we can actually relook, go back, move to and fro and understand it better. If they want to learn, they can click another, you know, tab, and this will allow them to learn. Fine. So it has different pathways of learning here, you know, because many of us may be doing asynchronous learning and the students don't get it in those 30 minutes or 20 minutes. So they can always go back and choose different pathways. They can test, they can share, and this is, you know, can be very well used with the Google Classroom. So this is one tool, Quizlet, which I like. And this is something, you know, it's really great because it allows those different pathways of learning.
Perfect. So I'll add on something as ma'am goes back to her slide. How many of you have gone to a buffet and tried to eat everything there? Anyone tried? I've got some friends out here, so I know I won't pull your names, don't worry. But imagine going to a buffet and trying every single dish there, right? And coming up with an upset stomach, right? That is what is the whole thing about formative assessment. When I started the world of online tools, I realized something that there are multiple tools. You can see Kahoot, Socrates, iClicker, Poll Everywhere, Pickers, Nearpod, Verso, Edpuzzle. I've shown you Edpuzzle. It does not mean that you have to use all the tools. You might get comfortable for 4 or 5, like Sangram says he uses Kahoot or yours. We saw a lot of Mentimeter being used there. Pick up 1 or 2 of your tools and use them so you get hands-on to it. Ma'am, I'll just take the liberty of sharing one little screen from my end.
Sure. Please go ahead.
Just learning few things. So there is something for those who use a lot of video. So if you can
Please
see
show.
Edpuzzle here, another great tool. Of course, the only thing you will need is you have to integrate Edpuzzle with your Google Classroom. And that's a session we definitely are going to do in the next week there. But what Edpuzzle does is instead of creating your videos or just sharing a video, you can make a video and there'll be questions automatically embedded in it. See, people have done so much work. Why are we creating? I never create a quiz on Kahoot. I use a lot of people's Kahoot quiz and share the code with my kids. That is what I'll show. So here I go to, I just read an assessment word, formative assessment. I'm choosing a very small video of 44 seconds. I go here to my video here and I'll put my screen somewhere else. And do you see that now? What it says is in Edpuzzle, if you go edpuzzle.com, it's another great thing. I can play my video. It's an embedded video on YouTube. So let us quickly do it. So, ma'am, just give me the liberty. I'll just take 44 seconds video here again. I'll share. I have not shared the computer sound.
Please go ahead, Mr. Dawood.
Thank you
I'm eager to learn that.
Right. So this is the same thing we are learning on formative and summative. You all can see the screen. We're doing it now. The video stops now. Why does it stop? Is unless you give an answer, the video will not go ahead. So your kids will have to answer. So can you help me? Anybody on the chat? How do you prefer to be assessed, formative or summative? That's all. The question is, maybe I can ask Asnaha ma'am and she can help me because you have the mic on. Formative.
Just a minute. I want myself to be assessed through formative assessment, and don't put me into the fear situation by telling me that today is your summative. So please assess me through formative assessment. Allow me to learn.
I put formative here and I submit, and the moment I say, it says continue and I go ahead. Right. Now at the end of the course, what do you want to do? See, this is I think, trust me, this is very simple, but it's good for you to learn what an Edpuzzle is. So now at the end of the course, ma'am, what do I do? A, formative, B, summative. I think you all know, right? I'm getting a lot of answers in chat also. Summative. All right, perfect. So I'm going here and I submit again. So I'll not go beyond. Okay, it says, okay. See, I wrote a formative and it says it's wrong answer. So I have to go back. I continue now. And so here we are. Let me quickly go with the video. I'm not going and playing the entire video here, but the idea is it says write a complete sentence. So it's a closing sentence. But the beauty of this is I can go back, I can rewatch, I can start again. And I can assign this as a part of my Google Classroom. So I click on assign. It takes me to which class do I want to assign. So I've created a class called My Own Space. I quickly assign it. And when I assign this, it's absolutely embedded in my Google Classroom. My students can go, they can write the answer. I can prevent skipping here so they can't skip a question. I can do that. This is a fantastic tool, especially for videos, which become very boring and, non-interfering or non-interactive. These are great tools. Sir, ma'am, it works only on Google Classroom. So you can show them on Zoom. Yeah, you can show them Zoom and the students can give you answers like how I'm doing right now. So this is a great tool. Yes, it's a great diagnostic tool.
We can use it in the live classroom also. Absolutely. But it is good if you're having the asynchronous thing and you're giving some of the recorded classes. So use this as that recorded video. Our recorded video doesn't give us an information whether the student have watched it or not. But if you're using Edpuzzle, it will give you information of minute by minute. Whether they have watched, how many questions were right, and what were the learning difficulties. So it gives a complete information. I can share it with you because I have completed 15 days bigger Edpuzzle coach course for myself to understand it better. So rightly said by Brother Dawood that it is not necessary to have memorized all the assessment tools. Some are really effective, tried and tested. So what a teacher want? A teacher want a video, A teacher wants some podcast, a teacher wants some great articles. So have these things in your arsenal and you're ready to go. So don't get lost in so many things, rather choose some tools which are, appropriate. And first thing, you're using technology to learn, you're not learning technology to get lost. So it is very important, to use technology very mindfully. And don't get overwhelmed by, okay, so many free things. This is happening. Earlier when I started the virtual school, I shared many things with my teachers, but now they become so well equipped, they know which tools work for them, because everything doesn't work for everyone, but there is something which works for everyone. So choose that something that works for you and your learners. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Brother Dao.
Thank you, ma'am. We can go ahead. So we are learning a lot of tools today. And remember not to eat everything at the buffet.
Yeah, it's very important. Fine. So what are some strategies? There are many strategies, but what are some strategies which actually makes a formative assessment, worth something, which is very important for a learner to grow, for our plants, which are our learners, we want them to grow. Sharing learning expectations. As you have all seen, before starting today's session, I've shared with you Vault. Vault, what are we learning today? Elicit evidences, where we are looking for evidences. Okay, they're learning. How they're learning? Okay, what are the learning difficulties? Do they need my help? Do they need something which gives them more clarity? And the most important part is feedback. And please keep your feedbacks forward looking. Don't talk about, okay, this child has not done this thing, your handwriting is bad, or talking about things which is actually not related to learning. Give them space to grow. So while giving the feedback, just there is something very important. Again, I'm going to share a mnemonic. Keep your feedback formative, means give timely feedback. Don't give your feedback at the end of the day when it is of no use. Give your feedback in a timely manner. It has to be goal oriented. So the mnemonic is facts. So F is for formative, A is for actionable, C is clear, T is timely, and S is supportive. So don't attack them with your feedback, rather support them with your feedback. Give it a timely feedback. Your feedback has to be explicit, which helps learner to take action. Then again, to more, most important strategies when it comes to formative assessment is self-assessment. Allow your learner to self-direct themselves, and become self-reliant and take the ownership of their learning. Learners learn better when a peer can help, right? So allow peer-to-peer interactions, allow peer-to-peer assessments. It develop a skill which is most important for 21st century learner, social skills. Because when we give them a certain kind of feedback, and when always teachers are there as a dictator, it is not good. Always it is important, it is vital. I'm not going to annoy you all. We are very important, but learning with peers is very important. So peer assisted learning needs teaching so that the learners can see what practice, focused and encouraging feedback look like, sound like, and feels like. It is very important to promote peers feedback. These are, some of the researches which I have been telling again and again, that the formative assessments are the most powerful weapons in a teacher's arsenal. It is very important to use formative assessment mindfully. Be very clear about your learning intentions. Be very clear about what strategies are you using and what tools are you using. In present scenario, it has become even more difficult to get an understanding of what are we intending. So keep that thing clear. What are you learning? Vault is very important. Fine. I'm going to share some quick and handy strategies which you can right away take in your classroom. So one is Raft. Raft is basically a writing strategy, but I call it an antiseptic cream. You can use it anywhere. So for example, you're learning about maths. Probably you're learning about fractions. Allow your learner, by giving them choice, they can choose any role. They can, if they're choosing, for example, an artist, so they can draw something about fractions. They can choose an audience, probably the peer group. Format can be anything. They can write an article, support it with kind of visuals. So this is how you are promoting choice, you know, different choices, and you don't have to prepare anything. The only thing is you need to use it mindfully. And same template you can use in you during your Google Classroom, but all the learners are not doing same thing. They are doing different thing and they are making choice. Like right now, Brother Dawood has, you know, put forward an analogy about going in a buffet and eating everything. Again, one more thing, when we go in a restaurant, what we see, we want to make choices. If waiter produces, you know, delivers food of his choice, will we eat? No, we want to make choices. It is natural, so give them choices. So this is promoting many choices, and it's very handy, easy to use tool. Second, it's again think-tuck-toe. It's a bit blur because I cannot use my school thing, so it's a bit blur. I'm going to share a document kind of thing with Brother Dawood. He can float it in the group wherever you all. So it is again think-tuck-toe. So we used to play tic-tac-toe, right? So this think-tuck-toe is actually based on Bloom's taxonomy. So what is important to remember? Where do you want them to think? So you're giving them 9 tasks, and out of those 9 tasks you are very mindfully planning, okay, either they can choose vertically or diagonally, both ways. And something which is very important is you are promoting choices. You're giving them different opportunities, you're creating different pathways to reach to a common goal. What is the common goal? They're learning about place values, but diverse opportunities. This is a very easy tool, a T-chart, which we have been using, but we can use it in different ways. We can use it for differentiation. We can use it for comparing and contrasting. Again, Freyr's model. We all want our students to memorize definitions, right? But memorizing definition doesn't help. Why? Because they need to look minutely into certain things. For example, they are defining, for example, proper fractions. So they are defining it, they're looking for the characteristics of proper fraction, and they're also giving examples and non-examples. So here in the center part of it, you can give any concept which you want them to define. So it is again a very easy and quick strategy. Oh, this is one of my favorites. So I was just talking about peer-to-peer assessment, right? Peer-to-peer interaction. So this is a placemat. Here in the mid, you can give them a topic or idea, sorry. You can give them a topic or idea which you want them to explore. And then there is a student, like there are 4 students who are exploring that ideas individually also. So in the sidewise, they are writing their individual reflection, and in the middle, they're actually reaching to the consensus and writing what do they mean collectively. So it is promoting both self-learning and peer-to-peer learning, and it promotes collaboration also, which is very important. Now, for example, again, you want them to describe something, but you don't want to stop over there. You want them to interpret, you want them to generalize, and then you want them to apply. So this is a strategy which you can use in language, social studies, anywhere where you want them to describe also, you want them to interpret also. So for example, you're giving them an article. Say article is about, you know, Egyptian civilization, and you are asking them to explain about the important thing like mummification or pyramids. Then you're asking them, what could you interpret? Then you're asking them what generalization you have, and can you apply certain things which you have learned from that civilization. So it is promoting, you know, higher order thinking skills. So you can again use this strategy. Wow, this is a very easy strategy. For example, at the end of this session, I can just unmute you, and then I can ask you to switch on your videos, and I can say like, where are you? Where are you when it comes to learning about formative assessment? And you're quickly showing me, if you're showing me 5, I'll say, okay, you completely understood. So this is again a very quick strategy. Fine, this is something which is an ongoing thing. As a teacher, I had this in my classroom for 1 year, and I could see like how students are using it, right? And I could see, okay, here I need to stop. So it is just like a traffic signal where we want to stop, right? And where our students want us to stop. So it is all about students' agency, where they are telling us if all of them are in red, so we need to stop, we need to relook, we need to revisit, or sometimes reteach. So you can use this strategy even in your Google Classrooms. This I discussed already, that it is very important to talk about the muddiest point. What is something that is unclear to you? That gives you, that approach which you want to use as a formative assessment teacher. Okay, these are the muddiest point, and I need to incorporate some of the learning strategies which change these muddiest point into the clearest points. So muddiest point means where learners are confused, perplexed about certain things. Fine, this is a KWL. Most of the CBSE schools are using. This is a little updated version, KWHLAQ. So what do I know? You can use it as an ongoing process throughout your learning. So you don't have to change your, strategies again and again. This is a tool which can be used throughout a unit. So first thing, you are starting with the prior knowledge. What do I know? What do I want to know? So here you are giving opportunities to learner, that what questions do they have, what curiosity do they have. So it is very important for a teacher to, to nurture that natural curiosity. And most of the teachers, they don't do it. They have their questions, but they don't allow student questions. It is a reality. Being a teacher, I know it, and being a student, I faced it throughout life, right? How will I find out? So what are the ways they can find out the information, what they want to know? They can go for the field trips, they can watch videos. So again, giving them opportunities. Then again, what they are doing, they're reflecting back that after this, what I have learned, what action will I take? Means how will I take my learning to the real life? And the question doesn't stop. So again, they are working on the questions that they have after going through the process. So this is again a very holistic approach. I like it, I used it, and it works. Okay, so lot of talking. I'm a little tired, and you all get tired. So as a teacher, I want you to get liberty whenever you feel little tired, when you feel that it is becoming monotonous. So I want you all, if possible, to unmute yourself and put on the video mode and go grab and share what is being most useful these days for you. Anything, a book, your spectacles, or your anything. Just go grab and share. I'm stopping the sharing here. We'll get back to it, but I want you to go grab and share what is most useful for you. Please switch on your video mode. I'm also doing the same.
Right, Asna ma'am, I think that's good. All right, don't worry if you're on the phone. Yes, I'll put the speaker view out there.
Yes, I can see some beautiful faces. Oh, wow. Srishti, your phone. Would you share, please? Just unmute and share. Why is it most, important? I can see Rabia also, Miss Rabia. Oh, Rizwan. My most important thing is my diary. I have been attending, many webinars, and people are talking like anything. So this is my diary, which is the most useful thing. Wow, phone. And sometimes I write in phone also, so diary and phone, both. Wow. Naila, what is most important these days? What is useful? Just unmute and say. I need to listen to you all. I have been talking a lot. Okay. I'm unmuting you. It's not happening.
No, don't worry. I think it's still on the, so there's
Ma'am, it's my phone.
Okay, your phone. Okay, everyone likes phone, right? We all are digital natives, by the way. Fine, great. Anything else? Something interesting? Just one more. Nusefa, Miss Moni, Diksha, anyone? Just share something which is, oh wow. Jannat. Okay, green tea, antioxidants. Great. So, okay. I'm moving back.
Yeah,
so it is
again.
again.
I unmuted you if there was a message. Srishti ma'am, unmuted if you want to speak up.
Yeah. So my phone and my diary are the two most important things that I have been using a lot in the lockdown, because since I also have a school and nowadays we have started the online classes. So I feel every time I'm on the call with the teachers, discussing, ma'am, the internet is not working. This is not working. How should I go? And so, yeah. Right now it's the phone and my diary.
Same here. That's the reason I'm saying, from morning 8 till 4, I'm on phone. I have never been using phone so effectively. Seriously. And all for constructive purpose. I don't talk to my friends using my phone. It's all teachers.
Same here.
Okay. Anyone else? Brother Dawood, what is most important for you? Phone.
Yeah,
Your
I
mobile.
think it's the mobile phone, but I will trust me. You know, my wife calls me Zoom Man. So from Iron Man, she's calling me Zoom Man now. I'm Zoom all the time, right? But I like what someone says. The Dalgona coffee is out there, so people are becoming
Yes.
creative now.
Netflix. Farzana Munmun. Netflix. Okay. Okay, Rizwan, would you like to share? I could see you opening the videos, and he is, one of the most proactive learners. So he definitely wants to share. So you want to share something? You can unmute and share.
Go ahead.
Naila also. Yeah, please do that. I've been talking a lot. I need a break. See,
Hello, Miss.
you can take
my
the break in
iPad,
the same way.
my
Yes.
iPad, Miss. Most important, my iPad and laptop.
iPad
These
and
two things.
laptop.
A teacher has
Yes,
to be valid.
because we have some. At the same at the moment I'm staying in remote area, so here lots of electricity problem. So as we are conducting the live classes, morning to afternoon, so the phone, iPad, and laptop need to be charged. So these three gadgets I always need to look forward. If one is going to finish, then another I need to use. So
Another
these three
Zoom
things are
man.
important.
You got a brother today,
Yeah.
Mr. Daud.
Zoom, Google Meet, everything meets.
Right.
Multi-talented, and
Thank you.
I call you an octopus, you know it. Me too.
Yes,
Okay,
Miss.
Naila, would you like to
Thank
share,
you,
dear?
Miss.
Ma'am, I'm using my phone because I'm making a planners as well as taking a classes online. So today's I'm using a phone only.
True. Okay. Oh my God, someone is writing about Irtugul also. Yeah,
Right.
many people are watching it.
Musa, it's a craze all over the world. I think we did a quiz on it because I have no idea about it, but
Yes,
I see
I
a lot of my
also.
students know about it and we do a quiz. So it's fun the way we do it. I'll share a little bit of what I am a history teacher. So there was a lesson I was doing called Freedom at Night. I'm just on formative assessment. There's so many ways you can teach them. If you see the screen out there, there's a little quiz. So there's a hieroglyphics, right?
Wow.
One of the easy ways, what a great way was asking students to just write the name with the hieroglyphics. Thank God my name doesn't have an L and an M, so I can't draw the animals. But
I
it gives you
used it. I used it in my classroom when I used to teach civilization, and it was all fun. They enjoyed it.
so true. There's so many ways, formative assessment need not just be tools. You can do so. I'll play one more game. Remember the name place animal thing? That's another game. So for me, it was history of Egypt, as you mentioned. So there was Moses and all the commandments around. I played another game, ma'am. I'll play a little one. Let me just run through a good game here. All right.
Sure, good to go.
If
Yeah.
all of you have watched the movie 10 Commandments and Moses or Musa, very important character, Egypt. So we did a little game where tell me some miracles that come to mind when Musa comes in. Just idea. These are what I call, there's a game called Jeopardy. So Moses or Musa, very popular name. So it's a class I've taken some time back. Any names, any miracle that comes to your mind? Okay, I'm getting a lot of answers on the chat, so I'll quickly read them. Okay, the way, all right, the stick, the Exodus movie. Yes, I love, that is Christian Bale. I think there were some amazing actors out there. This is one of the ways you can do just 5 things. But the idea is, and then this is a game called Jeopardy. If you give an answer on top, the top one gives you 50 points. And subsequently the answers, if it's a Red Sea parting is like the best answer, the serpent is the second answer, you get points like that. You can divide the classes. I'll play one more part. Let's say when the word Egypt comes to the mind, what are the things that you can think of? All right. So if you give me the most common answer, you get 50 points, and subsequently you get 40, 30, 20, like that. You can speak up also. All right, I'm getting answers shooting on the message. Okay, pyramid. So all of you get 50 for pyramid. What else comes to your mind? This is a great lesson for social studies teachers out there. Asna ma'am, you want to try something? And all those who are unmuted. Okay,
Yeah.
Nile. Yes, go ahead. Mummy, wonderful. Mummy,
Yeah.
Nile, Egypt pyramid, desert. All right.
Wow.
So great answer. So let me quickly go and show you the answers. So
I'm just mesmerized by Cleopatra. After teaching Egyptians in the class, I actually researched more about Cleopatra. So that was an inquiry point for me.
I think that's good. And you can connect with Shakespeare and so there you are. You can think about kings. People said, Pharaoh,
True.
pyramid, Nile,
Yeah.
Cairo. I like the word answer, mummy, the Sphinx, the Tahrir Square. So the idea is do not restrict your formative assessment to just one quiz. It could be multiple resources. Back to you, Asna, ma'am. Thank you so much. Right, ma'am. We are back in your learning class with a lovely break here. And we're almost there. We got five minutes to wind up. So, there we are. Right. Asna ma'am, are you there? Can you? Did we lose her voice?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Thank you so much.
So ma'am, we've got 5 more minutes and then we'll go ahead. Yeah.
Fine. So we just did an icebreaker kind of a much needed break, which is much needed for the learners. So go grab and share, where we could share something which is happening in our life, and it is very important to check what they are thinking. So what I get to know about all of you, you're thinking that phone is important and you are making constructive use of phone. But in case in my class, if someone shares something, so that gives me a signal that what is happening around. So it's important to take such breaks. Then let's talk about rubrics. Rubric is nothing complicated. It makes your life easy, because when we give, if I give Srishti number 5, and Srishti doesn't know like why she has given me number 5, what have I done? Or if number 5 is given, then still, the learners take it easy that, okay, at the end I got number 5. But what if I give Srishti number 1? She doesn't know what so quantifying feedback and not giving explicit feedback actually kills curiosity, actually kills love of learning. So what we are doing, we are giving them numbers. If you are a curriculum which promotes number, or you have engagements or assessment which more about numbers, so use numbers in such a way, at least in your formative assessments. For example, this rubric is about 6 traits of writing. It is a famous book by Ruth Kulham, and it allows the learners to see writing as a process. So this is something which is ongoing, which I use in my classroom 3 to 4 years back, and it actually make them explicit learning intention. And when I'm giving them number 3 or number 5, I actually know what they have done, and they also know it. So rubric is again a tool. You can create your own rubrics, or there are many different ready-made rubrics, and life has become very easy. I'm thinking I should have started my career now. So all the teachers, those who are starting the career now or in the midway of their career, they are actually lucky, because the amount of sharing and the amount of resources available, you just need to be a little mindful, and you don't have to deviate from the path. So rubric is again a tool which makes your learning intention explicit, and means altogether with the numbers, you can use the criterias as well. You can customize your criterias anytime, as and when required. This is again a rubric. It is again for English teachers, but there are many rubrics available on internet, so use rubrics. So this is talking about level 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know that learners are at different level, but do they know how we have leveled them? So give them this kind of exemplar and tell them to reach to level 4, they need to follow all these steps. If they're writing words, they need to write sentences and then paragraphs, and then they need to reach to multiple paragraphs. It talks about errors, it talks about vocabulary. So everything is clear what is expected. Rather confining everything to us, we are giving it, we are serving it on a platter of learners, and we are expecting what we are expecting, we are making it clear, explicit to learners. So rubric is again a fabulous tool. Use it, and we can share some of the links of ready-made rubric, and I'll be sharing it soon. Fine. So I spoke a lot about formatives. I have given you a mnemonics also, that it is very important that you have a goal when you're giving a feedback, and goal will change from learners to learners. It should be actionable, where learners like quickly feel an intrinsic motivation. Okay, this has to be changed, and this is the way to change it. It has to be user friendly. So who is the user? Either a parent or the learner. Timely. For example, my child is writing an essay and he is making many spelling mistakes, and where am I correcting it? At the end. Is it something good? No. You need to keep on going. You need to be on rounds. You need to observe them closely, and then need to give them, some informal feedbacks too. And those informal feedbacks are your informal formative assessment. It has to be consistent in nature, right? So those consistent one are your formal formative assessment. It has to be focused, it has to be proactively given, and it has to be descriptive, where you are describing what is happening. So we give a lot of time and giving such feedback and giving such feedbacks. And these teachers, one day my teachers, they actually self-analyze their feedbacks, and which feedbacks were more fruitful. So they actually assess themselves as an assessor. We can have a session on it, but it is very important to introspect, to realize how good you are as an assessor. Now it's time to reflect. Brother Daud, Mr. Daud, do you have the Padlet with you ready? Can you share it in the chat box? So we will be reflecting. List 3 things you remember from this session. Show 2 examples what you have learned, and what are the questions. Here I have written 1 questions, but you can share more questions with us, so that if we plan any future sessions, we can keep those questions in mind. So okay, right. It is one of the most effective formative and strategy. When students, they have it, they say, ma'am, can we do 3 to 1 quickly, because we want to share what questions we have. So it is reflection time. Make reflection as a part and parcel of your life, the way you have made mobile. Keep reflecting and make your learners reflective learners. Thank you so much. Over to you, Mr. Daud.
Thank you so much. I've just opened up my screen Padlet, but I think this is what I've posted, and I'll just show them how a Padlet is. And this is exactly what my Padlet looks like. So I've got one created for Hub Schooling, and I click here, and
okay,
it's a great tool. I think you can use any backgrounds. I've just created a lovely background. You can add up all your pointers, your messages, your presentations, your links. But anyway, what we can do is we can just take a quick review.
Yes,
and oral feedback.
I'm sharing the Padlet as well. And
please do that. Right.
So if you can click it on your screen, the same thing.
I'll do that.
Just copy paste it so that they can see it.
Done.
So that we can get a good feedback, what they have learned, and we can plan for our sessions as well.
Okay. Shall I go home here in your Padlet?
Yeah, or shall I share it from my? Yeah, you can go.
That. Yeah, I think
okay,
it just
because now it is taking you back to your Padlet, because you are also using it.
Yeah,
so let me share it from here.
I'll stop it here, and then
yeah,
we are done. And you can write your suggestion and feedback in the chat box, and you can reach out to Asna ma'am as well. Okay, Kanta ma'am, I already got your reviews here. Assessment tool, rubric, Edpuzzle, wonderful. Thank you so much. Let's do it on Padlet, ma'am. Let's learn one more technology and one more tool.
Yes, that's the reason I deliberately kept something to use, oh my goodness, it is not taking me there. There is something which is happening. Let me access it again.
It's okay. If you cannot, then probably I'll just share the link with them.
Yes. I'm just trying to do it, and it was just opened. But now when I'm opening yours. Don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. I think I can. Right. Meanwhile, can I get your answers on the chat? All of you who attended, thank you so much. We got some great participation. I really like your style, Asna ma'am. You got the participants to open up, speak up, which is very rare in a session. So thank you everybody for the kind of participation you showed in.
Fine. I can see the Padlet. Can I share it, Mr. Daud? Will you allow me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I can get it, quickly. So, Padlet looks beautiful, and I've been using extensively in, my PDs, and we have a very beautiful Padlet, and it is taking us, as a learning journey where teachers are just annotating their day-to-day learning journey, and it is very important that we know where we have started, and we are using Padlet very successful. This is the Padlet for today, and I'm just copying the link again, and I'm just sharing it. I hope it works. Yeah, what's happening, man? Just a minute.
So one lesson, technology can also not support you all the time. So have your backup plans ready, like how ma'am has. But I can see the Padlet. I can see the reflections right now. 3 things you discovered, 2 things. Yeah, but we are not able to use. If you can.
No, you can use it with that link, which I have shared.
Hold on, let me just click on the link.
Yes, just click on the link so that we can have it.
let me just put the link again. I think the same link.
Yeah, this is the same link. And can you use it?
No, it is not. I think let's. What
Yeah,
I'll do
let's.
is
Yes. We can stop it here. And yeah, if I'll get the link, I'll share it with you in your Facebook page so that you can get the feedbacks also and the questions also for the future sessions.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asna ma'am. I really loved it. Thank you all. There are school heads from Delhi, Shepherd Park, Sister Rabia, Golden Sparrow, Shabana ma'am, Mitu ma'am, all of you who have been participating, supporting. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I think we'll continue to learn, we'll continue our journey, and hopefully I would love to see some of you become part of a trainers group. Asna ma'am, all the way from Bangladesh, thank you so much for a lovely session. Hope to have you again for some more sessions on the assessment. So we only did formative, Asna ma'am. We have to finish our summative as well, right? So you will have to be back.
Yes, right. I'll be back soon. Thank you so much. And yeah, I just want to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, from several places, I'm feeling back to home. I'm feeling like I'm with Indians again, although I'm a global citizen. Yeah, traveling a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Daud, for creating such a constructive platform where we have a voice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
Everybody, thank you so much for your lovely answers and comments. The Creative Classroom is a small group we have created just to update you. So anyone wants it, I'll just share my phone number or email address, drop in a message, and hopefully we can immediately, add you to the same thing. So this is, for those who are away, this is add the India code before, and we do that. Thank you once again, everybody. Hope to see you again. The recording will be available probably by the end of the day. Bye-bye and God bless.
And I'm again sharing the Padlet link. Try to share it. Try to share it so that we can have. I have just shared the Padlet link. It will work now. There was some problem in the setting. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am. All right. So everybody who's still here and who has not got bored of it, the Padlet is still working. I'm sharing the link with all of you. It's just, you can use it. I'll put the Padlet link back in the Creative Classrooms as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
May I take your leave? It was a nice day with all the like-minded people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. See you. Bye-bye.